Next thing I know, bam! Head flies this way, and it felt like geographically everything that used to be over here is now over here. The very first thing that crossed my mind as soon as I turned around was, I have Worlds in 6 weeks, and I don't want to break my hand on your face and not be able to hold my racket and go represent my country next month.
Ladies, grab your coffee, stilettos, and hop on the Hott Mess Express. Welcome back to the Hott Mess Express with Kassie Kennaugh. I am so excited today to introduce you to Rhonda Rajsich. This woman I met here a couple weeks ago, and she has been such an inspiration. She is one of the most decorated racquetball players in United States history. Booyah. Fucking love that.
Thank you.
But today, what I really am wanting to hit with you is what's happened off court to make you the inspirational, motivational, amazing, badass business bitch that you are today. So that's what we're going to hit today. And then we are going to do a little promo for her because she's freaking awesome. And we're going to talk about her book that she's got coming out. So, Rhonda, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Super excited to have you. So give me a little bit of background about yourself, who you are, what you do,
Sure.
what got you to where you're at right now.
I am Rhonda Rajsich. I am a professional racquetball player. I'd been on the U.S. team for about 24 years in a row. I've recently taken this last year off to focus on developing my businesses of speaking and elevation and performance coaching. And also I am writing a book, which surprisingly takes up a lot more time than you think it would.
Good on you for going, because I don't know if I could.
I didn't really have a choice.
True.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great. I've been speaking for over 19 years. I've been coaching for over 7. But now I'm not just waiting for those things to fall into my lap. I've known for probably over a decade that I've wanted to do more speaking more often and be able to help more people. Like I said, I've been coaching for over 7 years, but didn't actually realize that that's what I was doing. And wasn't charging for it. So I'm like, wait, this is an industry? Wait, people pay for this?
I can make money off of this?
Oh,
nice.
All right, let's figure that out. So that's kind of where I'm at now is I'm building my brand, building my off-court businesses. Also, again, getting the book done. It should be coming out in the next couple of months, hopefully. So still working on that. Almost done. The finish line is in sight.
I'm so excited for that.
Thanks.
So tell me, okay, so we'll kind of pivot. What happened? Give me your story about kind of what brought you to your aha moment of this is the direction I want to go.
It wasn't just one thing. Okay. I know it's the cliche of live each day like it's your last. Yeah. And I've literally lived my life that way since I was a toddler, because as a 3-year-old I should have been dead a long time ago. That's a whole nother story. You're going to have to read that one in the book. Just because, I know that there's a much more central story that has given me a very unique platform to speak from as an athlete and just as a human being relating to other human beings, whether it's personal life, business life, professional life, athletic life, kind of just one of those all-encompassing universal, the experience that was just filled with universal truths all over the place. So that particular event happened on June 1st, 2008. I was living in Hermosa Beach at the time. I was walking on the Strand. It was late at night. I was walking on the Strand, which for those of you who might not know, the Strand is that big chunk of sidewalk, like two-way traffic, foot traffic sidewalk in between the homes and the actual sand of the beach. I was walking on the Strand, and I happened to be like right in front of the property that our house was on. Mm-hmm. We actually lived above the garage, and the house that was in front of that garage, it was all part of the same property. And
Gotcha.
A couple other guys lived there, so 2 separate units. But anyway, I happened to be kind of right there. And can I cuss?
I already said bitch.
All right.
And yeah, so you're good.
Yeah, but this is like the meat and potatoes of the story.
No,
which,
go for it.
As you know.
Yeah, go for it.
So walking on the Strand, and this guy was kind of standing underneath the street lamp, and he just kind of initiates mild contact of like, hey, what's going on? Not much, man. How you doing? I'm all right. How's your night? I was like, could be better, but oh well. And I'm thinking we're just engaging in like this casual California sup,
Right. Yeah.
And I'm still walking in this direction. He kind of taken a few slow steps towards me. I'm just thinking he's, for hearing, like, the ocean is literally right there. We got waves and stuff. So,
well, and that's how you have a conversation.
Yeah. You know, just,
you're not
someone
30 feet apart. Like,
yes,
yeah,
exactly. Someone acknowledges you. You're engaged in even just, casual greeting, basically. Next thing I know, off the darkened patio of that house on the same property as we live on, this guy comes off this darkened patio, and I never saw him. He just came right up on my right side, and he goes, "What the fuck did you say to my boy?" And I was, kind of startled, like, "Where'd you come from?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Nothing, man. I'm just on my way. You guys have a good night." And I walked in between them, and I intentionally put my hands in my pockets so that they did not feel like I was any kind of threat to them, that they didn't need to engage me any further. I'm just going to go on my way and do whatever you were doing. Next thing I know, bam! Head flies this way, and it felt like geographically everything that used to be over here is now over here. And it wasn't a pain sensation. It was a sensation of, this is not here anymore. It's over here. Mm-hmm. And the other part of it was the sound that I was trying to process. And it sounded like when you snap a stalk of celery in half.
Okay.
It was that kind of noise,
right.
But it was loud. And as I'm processing those two sensations, bam, from the other way. And I realized after that second hit, I'm like, they're punching me from behind. So all I could kind of do was go like this and try to squirrel away. And I probably took 10, 15 shots to my face and head while I was trying to, just protect myself. And I kind of squirreled away several feet, and I turned around and squared up. I turned around, and I don't think it registered at the time, but like reflecting on it, I know now that's probably the moment I realized that that sound of being hit sounded different because they were both wearing brass knuckles. And then, this one's kind of saying something, this one starts saying something, they're kind of talking to each other. But in the meantime, I'm like micro-evaluating every nanosecond.
Right.
When I turned around and squared up, of course, instinctively, I wanted to hit back. But my immediate thought, the very first thing that crossed my mind as soon as I turned around was, I have Worlds in 6 weeks, and I don't want to break my hand on your dumbass face and not be able to hold my racket and go represent my country next month. So I'm like, I'm not going to hit back if I don't have to. Right now, they've stopped swinging, so I don't need to start swinging and make it worse. And at some point, I think they got a little freaked out that, I turned around. And that's actually why the title of the book is called Never Off My Feet, because I was never unconscious, and I was never off my feet in that attack. I turned around, squared up, but a little bit of jawing back and forth. I didn't say a word. I'm just kind of watching them.
At that moment, could you feel your face? Was your adrenaline to the point where you were so hyper focused on what was going on you couldn't feel anything?
That part. No, I definitely felt it, but it was secondary.
Yeah.
I was aware of it, but it was secondary. I was more concerned of being present in the moment of, what's going to happen next? What do I need to be prepared for? Because obviously I was unprepared for that first set of punches.
Right.
So I'm, again, just micro-evaluating at every nanosecond, trying to be, prepared. And then they ran off. Although I will say that my right eye, which almost fell out, I found out 2 years later it could have fallen out. My right eye was just like doing this, like while they were still talking before they ran off. So they ran off. I turned around and start to walk. I didn't want them to know that I lived right there.
Right.
So I wasn't making a beeline for my stairs.
Right.
I went towards Redondo Beach, and then I was going to go out to the Hermosa Avenue side and then come up to my staircase that way, because I didn't want them to know that I lived right there. So I start walking home like this. Do you remember that first Pirates of the Caribbean movie?
Yeah.
With Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Okay. There was that one tall, skinny pirate who his wooden eyeball kept falling out the whole movie, and he's chasing it around the ship deck and stuff. That was what was going through my mind as I'm walking home. I got my hand over my face like this because I didn't want my eyeball to fall out. And all I could think of was, I'm like, oh my gosh, if this falls out, it's going to get sand in it. It's going to be gross. They're not going to be able to put it back in.
So like we go back to like, I want to break my hands on your face because I want to be able to use them. And you're like, I don't want my eye to get dirty. Like, because I'm still going to use it here in a couple weeks.
I'm going to use everything.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to use everything. I got Worlds coming up, right? So
I know where your priorities are. Good.
absolutely,
Okay.
never wavered. So I'm walking home like that, and I've got my right hand, holding everything together, and I hear something. I turn around, and it's the guy that had come off the darkened patio, the one that started it all. And he's coming up behind me, and he's running like he's still got the brass knuckles on. He's running at me like he's gonna Superman punch me. And I'm standing there like, I turn around, I look at him, and as he gets closer, I put my left hand out. I go, dude, just stop. Just stop. And I did that for two reasons. One, I wanted him to get some sense of secure. Like, you don't have to prove anything. Like,
Right.
You've already beat the shit out of me. Like,
Right.
I don't need you to continue to wail
keep
on
going.
me. Like,
Yeah.
there's no point.
Right.
Like, all right, okay, I got it. But more so, I have no depth perception. I got one eye.
Right.
So if he is going to come in, if he is going to come at me again, I've got my left hand out here so that I have some frame of reference where he's at. I'll probably feel him before I can judge visually,
Right.
see him if he's getting close again. And now if I do need to defend myself, at least I can from this position. Well, he stopped. He didn't throw.
Wow, how nice of him.
Yeah, such a great guy.
Yeah.
He stopped and looked me up and down, and he said, "Fuck you, bitch. I'll fucking kill you where you stand. I'll end you. Think I gave a shit, bitch? I don't care. I just got out of prison. I don't give a shit. I'll end you. I'll fucking kill you tonight, bitch." And at that point, my response was, I went from here to here. I dropped my hands to my sides. I made fists. And all I said to him was, "Okay, then go ahead. Go ahead. I'm right here. Kill me. What are you waiting for? Go ahead. Kill me." And he looked me up and down. I gotta tell you this. That's all I said. Mm-hmm. What was actually going through my mind was I was pissed.
Yes.
I was pissed. I'm like, you chicken shit motherfucker. You came at me 2-on-1 from
Right.
behind.
Yeah.
Blitz attack the first time.
With brass knuckles.
With weapons.
Right.
And now you're going to come back at me a second time and threaten to kill me face to face? No. I don't care that you're a guy. I don't care that you're bigger than me. I don't care that you have a weapon. I hit for a living and I know how to generate force. So you very well might kill me tonight, but I will hurt you on the way down. So let's go.
Right.
And
Leave that lasting impression. Mm-hmm.
he looked me up and down and went "Tss," and ran off a second time. And that was the end of the attack portion of our program.
Fabulous.
So I'm covering,
Content warning.
I'm still trigger alert.
Yeah.
I'm still walking home like this, taking the long way, and I get upstairs, and my girlfriend at the time and her best friend, it was her friend's birthday. They were just in there, having wine and whatever. It never crossed my mind to call 911. It never occurred to me that a felony had just occurred. Never crossed my mind. All I was thinking about was like, man, I hope we still have some Advil because this is going to be sore in the morning. So I walk in, I don't say a word. I walk in and I just start like rifling through the drawer looking for the Advil.
And she's freaking out.
She comes around the corner. I mean, they knew I walked in, but her friend was just sitting there, didn't even bother to turn around. I walked behind her. She's watching TV.
Right.
My girlfriend, I don't know what she was doing in the other room, and then she comes around the corner and she hears where I'm fumbling for something, and she goes, "Oh my God, what happened?" I'm like, literally, this was my exact reaction. I'm digging. I look over at her and I go, "I got hit." She's like, "Why? Who hit you?" I'm like, "I don't know. 2 guys downstairs. You want to go ask them?" "I don't know. Do we have any Advil?"
I just need
need some.
Advil.
This is gonna be sore in the morning.
I'm going to get you Advil for your birthday.
So like immediately when her friend hears her response to whatever I look like, which I don't know, I didn't.
Right.
Again, never occurred to me to call the police. She calls 911. They were there. It felt like about 12 seconds. I mean, they were there so fast. And I remember being annoyed that they insisted on strapping me to that thing that they carry me down the stairs
gurney?
on.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed. Just the plastic one, not the one where the wheels pop down.
No, yeah.
The orange one that goes on top of that one.
Yes. Yeah. Because
I
they
was
can't bring the one with wheels up the stairs.
But I was annoyed because we had significantly narrow stairs. And I'm like, guys, I live here and I almost fall down the stairs twice a week. Like, please don't carry me. You're going to drop me. Yes, they almost dropped me like 4 times. I'm like, come on. Anyway,
we love our first responders.
Yes. Nothing against them. Just mind the stairs.
Right.
I'm like, I walked home after this. I can go down this. I walked up the
I
stairs. I
was
can go down the
rifling
stairs.
through trying to find
I'm
Advil.
fine.
I'm good.
I'm good. It'll grow back. It's fine. So I get transported to the hospital. They do all the scans, all the tests, all the things. And I don't know, it was maybe an hour or two later. Not sure. Concept of time is a little iffy. But this nurse walks in one door of the ER and doesn't even stop. She just reads off this little report in stride and starts to go out the other door. And she's like, "Hi, Rhonda. Okay, yeah, does look like you have some facial fractures. That's going to require reconstruction, and your surgeons will be in a few hours to discuss that with you." And just keeps on walking, like never even looks up at me. And I'm like, excuse me, can you run that back?
Not
One more time?
processing. Not processing.
I thought I heard you say surgery. So yeah, she comes back, puts her clipboard down, reestablishes everything she just said. And I'm like, okay, I have questions. What do you mean my face is shattered? What do you mean I need reconstructive surgery?
You haven't looked in a mirror at this point. Okay.
I didn't look in a mirror for weeks. They removed the mirror from my hospital room. Anyway, so once we had those results, my girlfriend took my phone and went down the hallway out away from the ER room that I was in. And I didn't hear anything that she said. But one thing that was probably the most traumatic for me through that entire experience was not getting my ass kicked. It was hearing my mother's shriek at the other end of the phone from down the hall. I'm an only child. My parents divorced when I was 5, but I was raised incredibly, amazingly, lovingly by both of them.
I love that.
That's an unreal story in itself. And hearing my mother's reaction to the news that I was in the hospital, I was attacked, and I'm gonna need surgery. Like, I mean, if I ask her today, she's like, "I don't even know what I said." I said, "You didn't say anything. You made noises that I can't unhear." Mm-hmm. She immediately got the first flight from Phoenix to LA, got picked up and taken directly to the hospital. And my poor mom didn't even have time to tell my dad. So by the time my dad found out, somehow through the grapevine, the way you remember that game Operator?
Oh my
you
gosh,
say one thing and it's totally wrong by the
telephone.
time
Yep.
Yep, exactly. Yep. My poor father heard the news in the context of I had been beaten to death by a gang with baseball bats, and I was dead. So then my dad starts calling my dad somehow gets through to my hospital room, and my mom answered, and she she just spaced it. Like she was just so beside herself that she had her own trauma response to that too.
Legit, this is exactly what it is.
Yeah. And my poor dad. Anyway, same story. He got the first plane out, and they were both there for me. No questions asked. But I got jumped on June 1st. I had to wait 10 days for the swelling to go down, and they did my reconstructive surgery on the 11th. And my surgery was supposed to take between 4 and 5 hours, and mine actually took over 12.
Good.
Again, my poor parents. Like, of all the shit that I've put them through since I was a little kid and almost died at 3.
You're just keeping them on their toes.
It's
okay. It's fine. As a parent, it's fine.
It's fine.
Scrub some dirt on it. It'll be all right. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we were all, together, and I was so heavily medicated. There's so many things that I mean, as I'm writing the book, because, obviously this is a large part of the book in the middle. And even now, just, talking it over with my mom about, things that I've written and things that I remember, or like I needed clarification on, like, did I stay in the hospital the whole time between getting jumped and getting the surgery? Or I'm like, I feel like they let me out for a couple of days. She's like, yeah, they let you out. I'm like, I kind of remember that, but I don't. I do, but I don't. Mm-hmm. So she's clarified a few things for me, and just, the number of things that not only not things that I don't remember, but things that I didn't even know happened.
Yeah.
I didn't know the outpouring of support that happened at the hospital. I didn't know that there was a press release until weeks later. I didn't know, that this had traveled, like such a wildfire the way that it had. Just it was an extremely humbling experience to find out from people around the world that I'd never even met how much love and support I had, lifting me up into healing the way that I did. That was, put it this way, I got jumped. I never cried. I went to the hospital and found out my face was shattered. I didn't cry. My eyeball almost fell out. I didn't cry. I have to, I guess I didn't have to. I chose to adopt the mindset of I have to continue to show my parents that I'm going to be okay so that they'll be okay because they were so worried for me. In fact, when my girlfriend came back down the hallway and handed me the phone after I heard my mother shriek at the end of the phone, I'm like, Mom, I'm fine. She's like, no, you're not. I'm like, Mom, I'm okay. I just took some shots to the face. At the end of the day, I just took a few punches. That's all. I'm fine. They didn't rape me. They didn't rob me. They didn't kill me. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. And when I said that, as I heard myself say it, I knew that I wasn't just placating her. Like, that's genuinely how I felt. Mm-hmm. That's literally how I viewed the situation. I'm like, I just took a few punches. It's fine.
Yeah. That's your survival. Like, literally, that is your survival mode of, I have to get through this. I have to be strong. I have to, I have this to worry about. I can't. It is literally the survival aspect of, I can't let somebody else win over me. Mm-hmm. I have to take control of myself.
Yeah.
And you put yourself into this protective bubble.
Yeah. I knew that I needed them to be okay. Mm-hmm. And I was going to do whatever I had to do for them to be okay.
Yep.
I knew I was going to be okay because I'm like a cockroach. I refuse to die.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I just stick around a little while longer. All of these things, all the surgery and all the things, I never cried until I saw after the surgery, I came home and there was the most beautiful bouquet of flowers. I mean, there was dew on the petals of the flower. I've never seen anything like that in real life. Mm-hmm. I thought that was just like artist renderings, that could make a picture
Beauty
that
and
perfect.
The Beast, that flower, yeah.
It was incredible. And I was very emotionally moved. And then I realized the amount and not just the flowers, but I mean the cards, the voicemails, the emails, the social media posts, the outpouring of support, the number of tournaments around the world that were being held as fundraisers for me that I was unaware of until way after the fact. The number of T-shirts that were printed that were sold as part of a fundraiser for all my medical bills and all these things that I never even knew was happening, and just the way that my whole getting stuck in my throat now, the way my whole racquetball family came together. People that I knew for years, people that I just met, people that I've never met, people that aren't even racquetball players. They're just fans that have watched me play from, online streaming. It really blew me away. And that was when I cried. When I saw that first basket of flowers and all of the outpouring of support that came after that. It was extremely, extremely humbling. And in the meantime, it never occurs to me that I would not be going to Worlds. Of course I'm going to Worlds. Why wouldn't I go to Worlds? Worlds is the reason I didn't hit back. Like, I'm going to be ready.
You're like, listen, I protected my eye from the sand for this.
Exactly. I'm like, I didn't hit back. My hands are intact. My eyeballs are both in my head at the same time right now.
I'm good.
Let's go. And then after the surgery, I had a conversation with our U.S. team head coach. And, he's checking up on me. And I'm thinking, like, all right, like progress report. Okay, I'm gonna be ready.
I'll be at practice on Tuesday.
I'm just assuming that, like, all right, this is like just a status update because I'm gonna be ready. Our flights left July 29th, and this was probably June, maybe 13th or 14th. I had this conversation with him, and he wraps up the conversation by saying, "All right, kid, well, heal up. You're in our hearts and on our minds, and we're all gonna be playing our asses off for you." I'm like, in Ireland? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be playing my ass off for you too. And he goes, well, you're not going. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Oh, hell no. Don't you dare take this away from me. Worlds is the only reason I didn't hit back.
Right.
Worlds is the reason I didn't hit back. Don't tell me I can't go now.
Right.
Like, if I would have known that, me getting,
I would have kicked the crap out of him.
Absolutely. I would have thrown. I absolutely would have thrown. Like, let's go.
I was protecting myself for
this.
Yeah, for you. Come on.
Yeah. And honestly, that was more devastating to me than any of the medical news I was getting. That ripped my heart out. Mm-hmm. That was more, like, okay, no. You can tell me you got to amputate something. Do not tell me I can't go to Worlds. So mm-hmm. I was so attached to that event,
Yeah.
And then this happened. And I'm like, okay, well, I still have that event. And then that was going to be, removed from my equation. And I was just, I couldn't handle it. So I fell into a pretty deep depression for a few days. Time, again, was kind of an illusion because I was so heavily medicated. It felt like 3 or 4 days, could have been 3 or 4 hours, could have been 3 or 4 weeks. Actually, no, because I did stuff that 3 or 4 weeks later. But it was a few days for sure. And I realized that I'm like, I can't stay in this state. I can't stay in this state of being. I need to go about my business like I'm going to Worlds, whether I go or not, because Worlds is still my reason and it's still my why, and I'm still going to be ready, whether I go or not. So I sent Dave an email, and I copied the USA Racquetball Board of Directors. I copied the US Team Committee. I copied anyone I had an email address for in some position of authority that would potentially have a say in that outcome. But I addressed it to the head coach because he's the one I had that phone call with.
Right.
I said, and by the way, I did look up the emails. I did look up this email because obviously I've shared this multiple times and want to make sure that I'm on point with how I remember it. Let me,
I was heavily medicated.
See what happened was. And I'll be honest, I was almost word for word on point, except for there was one last sentence that I entirely forgot about until last year when I looked this up. And even now, I got goosebumps right now.
Are you literally? I have goosebumps.
Yes, I have
story,
goosebumps right
FYI,
now.
Yeah,
I have goosebumps right now thinking about this last sentence because I'm like, oh my God, who says that? But anyway, this was essentially the email that I had sent to Dave. I said, dear Dave, apparently whether or not I go to Worlds next month in Ireland is not up to me, but whether or not I am ready for Worlds is entirely up to me. So as the head coach, please do whatever you feel is in the best interest of Team USA. Have your phone calls, have your meetings, and do whatever you need to do to have the strongest team possible. But just so you know, whether or not I go to Ireland next month, I will be ready to be the world champion by July 29th. And then the last sentence I forgot about, so I said, so if I don't go and you don't win, that's on you.
Okay, so I was starting to cry up until that point. Thank you.
I'm like, who says? I'm like, that's like Babe Ruth calling his next home run from a hospital bed. Like,
right?
Whatever.
Just blame that on the medication.
So yeah, no, that was totally lucid. I remember it. I remember that vividly. So did they win? So here's the thing. I wrote out that email. I reread it, checked for any kind of errors, checked for any kind of editing.
Okay, and stupid question.
Yeah.
Can you see out of both of your eyes at this point?
Not well.
Okay.
Not well, no.
Okay. I'm thinking like, okay, she's writing
wandering?
this email and like all I can think about is this wooden eyeball falling out and then I'm going to go play in Worlds. But can you really see the email that you're writing?
Kinda like this, right? Actually, I did have a patch. They gave me some eye exercises that I had to do.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of funny that you brought that up.
Yeah, sorry. Like that's all that you can imagine. Like I hear my 2-year-old saying "r" and then I have you like this wooden eyeball.
I'm gonna get that movie prop. I'm gonna get that movie prop and bring it to you.
You need to.
Yeah. So as soon as I hit send on that email, I simultaneously hit the button and immediately released all attachment to any potential outcome of whether I go or not. And I just put my head down and I went to work. And when I say I went to work, I mean I sat there and did work because I couldn't train. Mm-hmm. I couldn't train. I was 37 pounds underweight. I was not allowed to eat solid food until October. I was not allowed to sleep laying down until the end of August. But I'm going to go win Worlds, and I should be allowed to go, right?
I love you.
Can't chew.
I love you.
Can't chew anything, but I'm going to go win a world title. Watch.
I'm going to go play racquetball.
I'm going to go do this.
Yeah.
So, what I ultimately, the only thing I had that I could rely on for my training was my mind. So I did everything I could do that didn't require physical exertion, especially in the very beginning. Through the whole the whole second half of June, that's all I could do. I could only do sedentary mind workouts. So I did. I would map out, well, okay, here's if I'm able-bodied, which I'm not right now. This is how I would train this many days out from when I'm supposed to leave. And I would write out what my practice would be if I was going to go to the gym. And then I would sit there and close my eyes and I would visualize down to, I would start with, I'm going to go to my closet and get my outfit that I'm going to go to the court in right now. I'm going to check my racquetball bag, make sure my shoes are in there and all my equipment that I need is in there. Make sure I have enough racquetballs to practice with because, sometimes we break them.
Wait, you can break a racquetball?
Oh, yeah, I broke one last night.
Okay. Remind me to never play racquetball with you.
No, actually, I'm safe because I know where it's going.
Oh, good.
People who don't know where it's going are the ones you should fear.
Me. That's me. Yeah.
So I should duck and cover.
Yeah, you should duck. Helmet.
Padding. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Bulletproof vest.
Yep.
So I would, then envision myself getting ready and putting my bag on my shoulder and walking down those skinny little stairs and getting into my truck and putting on exactly the song that I want to listen to on the way to the gym. All green lights. Obviously, visualization is always perfection. All green lights, front row parking or wherever I want to park, knowing exactly what court I want to be on, walking into the gym, listening for the beep of the scanner when I scan my QR code for the membership card to walk into the gym, going to the court that I want, setting my bag to the right side of the door, unzipping it, knowing what those zippers sound like when I unzip it, removing my shoes, kicking off my left shoe before my right, to change my shoes, getting all the things completely ready, feeling the leather of my glove, caress my hand as I slide it on, the Velcro, attaching on the back of the glove, putting my wrist lacer on for the racket to be secure, feeling, even though there's a glove in between my skin and the handle, feeling, knowing the texture of what that handle feels like in my grip, right? Walking onto the court, hearing the echo of my voice, hearing the echo of my footsteps, hearing the wood creaking beneath my feet, feeling that the temperature is a little cold because it's always too cold in those damn courts. Knowing every detail of the environment that I am in, knowing the very unique rubber smell of a racquetball, knowing what it sounds like when I bounce it, feeling the tiny twang of the strings every time my strings hit the ball as I'm bouncing it, and then dropping and hitting and unleashing that cannon of a forehand down the line during warm-ups, and then going over and doing the same thing with the backhand, hitting my backhand warm-ups, and then taking myself through my practice routine. If that routine was going to take me 2 hours and 13 minutes in real time, it took me through 2 hours and 13 minutes on the couch doing it in my mind. Every single detail of it was as specific and data-driven, sensory data-driven as possible. And I could feel myself on that court. I could feel all of those sensations that I just described, I could feel that around me on the couch to the point where when I opened my eyes, it was like, wow, didn't even have to fight traffic. And I just went to the gym, but it was the same. It was the same with my weight workouts. If I was going to go maybe to a different gym, or if I was going to go to, one of the CrossFit facilities down the road, just knowing what my lifting workout was going to be, whatever my training regimens would have been had I been 100%, those are the exact workouts that I took myself through in my mind with as much detail as possible, over and over and over and over again. And the other thing I did was I would watch video. I would watch video of myself in previous tournaments, of all, taking notes of the things that I'm doing well, taking notes of the things that I'd like to improve on for my next practice. Watching my opponents, looking for their tendencies, looking for their, because of her footwork, she can only hit this in this situation type of a thing. Like taking note of, where they're at in their games, respectively. So that was the only training I could do. And between that and feeling malnourished because, I'm sorry, but mashed potatoes, soup, protein shakes, oatmeal, and Jell-O just aren't going to cut it.
You literally just listed off the 5 foods I literally cannot eat. I will gag eating mashed potatoes.
Welcome to 5 months of my life.
I will gag eating oatmeal.
Yeah.
I've literally been like, nope, you're going to have to feed me through your feeding tube because nope.
Yeah. So that was what I did. And then it was after the first week of July, we had a tournament, an outdoor tournament in Huntington Beach. And it was a 3-wall outdoor tournament. I signed up for 3 divisions. I think I won 1, and I remember being genuinely pissed that I didn't win all 3. And I had the custom-made clear face protection that you see, the NBA players wear.
Right.
I had one of those made, and it didn't last. It was too. I'm like, no, it's. I get it, protection. I'll take my chances, whatever. Yeah. And I was fine.
I've had surgery once. I'll do it again.
It's fine. Yeah. I know good surgeons now. So.
On speed dial.
On speed dial. In fact, I actually had to go get my my equilibrium recalibrated 3 times a week for the first 2 or 3 weeks.
What does that mean?
So your equilibrium is like the little bones in the back of your ear canal.
Oh, yeah,
that,
yeah.
that
Okay,
establish
yeah.
your balance.
Your vertigo and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mine were so scrambled that I had to go have one of my surgeons, because he was the only one who was certified to do this specific maneuver, the name of which I cannot remember. But there's some specific maneuver that they have to do to recalibrate your equilibrium. And I liken it to that little game where got a piece of cardboard with some holes in it, and there's a little ball bearing in there.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get it into the hole. That was kind of what they were doing with my equilibrium. So,
Nope.
but that's all I could do. That's all I could do for training was visualized training. And then 10 days before that first outdoor tournament, I remember coming home. I spent 10 days came back from LA to Phoenix to train with my trainer Jim in Fountain Hills. And the very first day, the workout he had me do was 10 sets of 1 step-ups and only about this high. So I would stand on the ground, put 1 foot up on this step, and then bring the other foot up, step down and repeat. And I did 10 sets of 1. So basically 5 each leg. And that was the end of the workout. He's like, you need to go home and rest. He's like, that's enough. You can't do any more today. And I remember going home and crying because I'm like, oh my God, I can't even do more than 10 step-ups and I'm going to go play Worlds. 10 days later, I went and played that outdoor tournament. Like I said, I think I won 1 division, and I was genuinely pissed that I didn't win all 3. I actually spoke to one of the guys I played doubles with a week ago, and he's like, yeah, we lost to so-and-so and so-and-so in the finals. I'm like, I knew it. I knew I was in another final. I think I might have even been in the women's doubles final too. Anyway, our head coach had come down to kind of evaluate me when he found out I was playing.
Knock some sense into you. I mean, that's what I would have done.
I mean, that's probably the appropriate response. But no, he came down and I mean, I played over the course of 4 days. And like I said, if I was in all 3 finals, then I was playing a significant amount of matches over those 4 days. It's not like I played twice and ran out of gas or anything, or
right.
like I was done. I played the whole weekend. And he's like, wow, kid, I wasn't expecting that.
No.
He's like, I can't believe you signed up. And I was not expecting to see that kind of performance. I mean, I'm like, I know. And I'm like, so I told you I can go. And he's like, yeah, but what about this? What about this? What about that? What are the doctors going to say? I'm like, you leave the doctors to me. Don't worry about them. But at the end of the day, the conversation swung in my favor when I kind of let him know. I'm like, Dave, I don't need my face to hit the ball. My arms and my legs still work. I can still hit it and I can still go get it. And he laughed and he goes, well, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. And I think based on that sentence and based on his own, what he saw with his own eyes
Visual, yeah.
for those 4 days of that outdoor tournament, he made the recommendation that I should be allowed to keep my spot and play #1 singles for Team USA. And I did. July 29th, I was on that plane. And it ended up...
Was your girlfriend at all like yelling at you going, have you lost your mind? Okay, good.
No, if she was, I don't remember. I tuned it out.
Tuned all the negativity out.
Yeah,
Got it.
I don't recall anything from her at all.
Okay.
64 days after getting jumped, 53 days after facial reconstruction surgery, and 29 days after abandoning all pain medication, I won my first world title. I went to Worlds and won. Not only did I get to go, I fucking won. And this is one thing that I'm really I'm proud to be a member of this particular team, because I played my U.S. team singles player in the singles final. Our two other players that played doubles for us in the women's division, they won their doubles. Our 2 men's singles players played each other in the final. Our men's doubles team won their final. So Team USA, I have goosebumps again.
I'm like
Team
trying
USA,
not to cry because I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Team USA swept every individual award, and in the singles we had all USA finals, and we won the women's overall, the men's overall, and of course the team overall. And that is the last time Team USA has swept every title like that since then. And I wasn't even supposed to go.
I literally wish I know, like everyone's like, oh, legit. It's heartwarming, and so it's inspirational. And this is one of the reasons that, like, when I heard and found out about you and met you, I was like, I have to know, because when you go through something so traumatic, it's all about how you come out in the end. And you are such an inspiration for anybody, you know, especially women who've gone through that kind of stuff, and just like, how are we supposed to survive? How are we supposed to get through tomorrow, the next 24 hours?
So on that note, I never felt this was not a traumatic experience for me. It wasn't, and I know that sounds twisted, and I don't mean it to, and I'm not trying to say that, you know, things didn't happen, but my take on it from the moment it happened, because I mean, I this is gonna sound twisted, but I've never had any desire or feelings of vengeance towards the guys that did this to me. The police never caught him. I was on the phone with Hermosa PD yesterday to get a copy of my report. It's still open. It's an open case. They've never found them. But I've never. I mean, it was like I forgave them almost immediately.
That's huge.
You know, I got a lot of offers. Like, they're like, just point them out. I'll take care of them. I'm like, no, I'm like, it's fine. Like, I'm sorry that they didn't get enough hugs.
You already beat them.
Yeah.
You personally said, I'm not going to let them win. I'm not going to let them break me down and destroy everything that I am.
Yeah. That was never even an option. That was never even a thought. What I'm grateful for, and I get this question mostly from kids, and obviously I leave out the gory details with the kids, but when they know that, like, you know, I got attacked and then I came back in one world, like that's what they get. The kids tend to be the ones that ask, if you had a time machine and you knew that you were going to get hurt that night, would you still walk down the Strand? And the answer is yes. I mean, my pain on a daily basis, even right now, is 10 out of 10 or worse. And today's about a 27 out of 10. Today's just, it's one of those bad days. But knowing that this is my new normal since 2008, knowing that, you know, I've had 15, 16 subsequent surgeries, and I need another one, and I just haven't got it yet because I keep putting it off because I don't like not being able to eat solid food for 5 months.
Amen.
My most recent one was in March of 21, and I'm still dealing with, you know, some things from that. So, but none of that has derailed me. My viewpoint on this entire episode, this part of my journey, it was not a tragedy. It wasn't a trauma. It's just something that happened. And to me, nothing happens to you, it happens for you. And I feel like what I've learned about myself, what I have learned about human nature in general, what I have learned about, I mean, I think it's pretty cool that I know my fight or flight response.
Yes.
Fight, flight, or freeze. I did none of the above. So whatever I did, I'm sure it's supposed to start with the letter F. There's another F. Yes. I don't know what that is yet, but I mean,
we'll have to come up with it.
I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't run. I didn't scream for help. I responded. I didn't react. You know what I mean? Like, I think
you have a combination. You didn't freeze, but you fought back mentally, emotionally.
I stayed present
and attempted to fight back physically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, you literally, that was your fight, in my opinion, because you're literally going, I'm going to fight against giving up. I'm going to fight against letting him win. I'm going to fight against, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't run.
Right. You
didn't freeze. Fuck it. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight for me.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it was never something that, it didn't derail me. If anything, it empowered me.
Yeah.
Like I said, nothing happens to you, it happens for you. And I've gained so much more from that experience than I've lost. Pain is pain. This physical pain. My nerves are shredded. That's why everything is so painful, because my nerves are shredded. The plates and screws are not necessarily where they were originally. Like, stuff moves around. It's been 16 years.
Yeah.
Stuff moves. But I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for the things that I continue to learn from that experience about myself, about life, about, what we as human beings, every single one of us has this. I'm not special. I'm not special. Every human being is born with this innate strength. Every human being is born with this survival mechanism and perseverance and the ability to overcome any adversity. Watch any movie where the aliens are trying to take over the planet and us wimpy little human beings still keep, beating them and saving Earth, right? I mean, like those movies are based on that human condition of like, we really do have something special inside every single one of us. It does exist. It's just a matter of knowing that you have it, accepting that you have it, finding it to tap into it, and believing that those pieces of you that you are born with, they don't go away. They don't go away. They can be empowered, they can be diminished, but they don't go away. We all have that strength.
So if you had to give advice to the men and women and children out there right now who have gone through any kind of trauma, what would it be?
Know your strength. Know your strength, know your resolve. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're nothing. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're less than. Every single one of us is an infinite being of infinite strength, infinite ability, and no limits on what we are capable of. Don't ever listen to anybody who's they? They said, who's they? Fuck off. Know thyself. Know thyself. To know yourself is to know your strengths. To know your strengths is to know your capabilities. To know your capabilities is to know that you are limitless. And don't listen to anybody else who tries to put any ceilings or ropes or any kind of restriction on what you're capable of in your own personal growth.
I love that. You guys, it's taken a lot for me not to cry through this whole entire thing. And I know there's probably a ton more in your book, which has probably one of the most beautiful covers I think I've ever seen. So her book is Never Off My Feet. When's it coming out?
It's going to be coming out in the fall for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited. I am beyond blessed to have met you, and I definitely look forward to more, because even as me and what I've gone through, it's having people on my side, in my world, in my bubble like you, that help me continue to be better every day, because we all fall, right?
Right.
I mean, every day, I'm sure there's days where you're just like, not today,
There is days where whatever I was planning, that's not the plan anymore. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't not every gain has to be, several miles long. Mm-hmm. 1% better or 1 inch further is still trending in the right direction. It doesn't have to be this massive, don't try to eat the whole buffet in one bite.
Listen, I'm a fat girl who loves food. Come on.
Where are we going to eat after this?
Right? I know. Mm-hmm. I know Wendy and I are. Thank you, everybody. Rhonda Rajsich. Please go on. What's your Instagram handles and
Instagram is just my name, RhondaRajsich. Facebook, I believe, is the same thing. And my website is rhondaspeaks.com. You're welcome, only because I know y'all can't spell my last name. It's rhondaspeaks.com.
Or know how to pronounce it when you see it, just for the record. So thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. We love you.
Thank you. Thank you
Everybody,
so much for
I hope
having
you guys got a lot out of this. I know I did. If you have any questions for Rhonda, please reach out.
Absolutely.
She'll love it. And make sure you guys, I have this beautifulness right here. There is a QR code. I'll make sure we have it on the Instagram and Facebook so you guys can go ahead and take a look at it.
Little tip on that. The QR code actually goes to my website, and within about 2 seconds, you'll get a pop-up. And if you put your email address in, that email list specifically will everyone who signs up with that email list will have first dibs on the book when it drops.
Sweet. I love people that know technology. It's not my jam. So thank you. We love you.
Thank you.
Everybody, we'll see you next time.
Nothing happens to you, it happens for you.
Amen to that. Awesome. Yes.
Thank you.
I love it. I appreciate you guys listening. For more information, more reels, more crazy stories into my crazy hot mess of a life, hop on my Instagram. It's the Hott Mess Express, HOTT, the Hott Mess Express. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you next time.